little bit, Coach, about why, when you heard this job was open, what really made you say, man, this sounds like such a great opportunity for me?
Well, I had lived here in Tampa, and I came over here to visit numerous times and just watch practice and watch everyone work. And then I had a relationship with Coach, but it was more of a professional relationship. And so when the position came available, I said, okay, I'm gonna give him a call. We sat down and talked, and we were able to connect. And then that's why I said, hey, this would be the right spot.
I know for any coaching job, who you're coaching is a big part of it, but especially as a position coach where you're spending all the time with these guys and they're going to make a huge impact on what you're able to do with them as a coach. So when you thought about this D-line as it existed at that moment, what went to your mind about where you were like, this is going to be fun?
Elijah Cansey, boy, like a locomotive, he's going to be hit, sacked at the 15-yard line. He's going to go down. He's sacked, knocked backwards to the 39-yard line. 5 sacks today by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We had 4 a week ago.
Well, you always look at coaching, and you say it's all about just your relationship. You want to make the players better. So with this group, you had Vita, you had Kalaj, you had Logan, you had 3 starters, and they were all coming back. And you look at what they accomplished, with the number of sacks they had. It was all about, hey, that would be a great group of guys to coach, and it has been.
And so what are the things you feel like you've learned about specifically Vita and Kalijah, both on and off the field, in your limited time you've been around them so far? What are some things maybe you didn't even know how good they were at, or their personalities?
Well, it's about the personalities, because now when you sat down with them, you have a chance to see where they can just cut off and just be themselves. With Vita, he had just had a daughter. He was just talking about how excited he was to have his daughter. And then Kalijah, I knew him because I recruited Northwestern High School, so that's where Teddy Bridgewater. And he told me when he saw me, he said, "You that guy used to always come by our school." And I said, "Yeah, I came by there a lot." He said, "Yeah, when you told me I was too short." I said, at that time, it wasn't I was telling you it was too short. I just never thought you was going to turn out the player. If I didn't know you was going to turn out the player you are right now, I would have taken you.
Don't you know he loved getting to have that "I told you so" moment?
Oh, he loves that.
Yeah.
Now. Yes.
And so, you've spent so much of your time coaching college, and you've had that one kind of year in the NFL. But tell me a little bit about, for you, looking at the difference in coaching at a college level versus the pro level. What is the same? What do you have to adjust to? And what have you been thinking about the way you're going to approach that?
It's when you're dealing with young people, it's all about the trust that you build and the trust that they want to build with you. And then it's about relationships, and it's about you just making them better. And so even on the collegiate level and the professional level, they want to get better. So how can you help them get better? But it's more of you ask and now listen to what they have to say, instead of you giving them the answer. You can't ask the question and give them the answer.
And so, of course, you did have already guys who've been in the NFL for a few years, mainly on your line, but then now we find out, Desmond Watson comes in, undrafted guy. A lot of fans are really excited to see what he might be able to do this offseason and his role. I'm sure you probably initially thought Vita would be your largest player on your defensive line. As a coach, when you found out that he was going to be coming here, what were those first thoughts you had of what this guy could mean to this defensive line?
Well, I saw Des, and I had a chance to see Des at the University of Florida, and now that we have him, it's about him working and us working with him and just getting him to where he needs. He has a ways to go. So now it's about us just working with one another, him being consistent in what he has to do, and it's our whole approach to him.
Oh. Hey, go ahead. See, you trying to push it down. You got to hit it. Not here, because you're going to push alignment out. All right.
As you look at your career to this point, what are the biggest strengths you think you bring as a coach, and everything that you have learned and grown in over the years and all of your different experiences? What do you feel like is the thing that in that meeting room, on and off the field, that you bring to those guys?
You have to be player driven. And I always wanted to have a great relationship with my players where they understood that I cared about them, but I was not going to allow them to just do anything they want to do. But it's all about you watching them grow and become their own build their own family, and you're watching them grow as they move through life.
And then knowing you were coming in, getting to coach for Todd Bowles, that to have a head coach that has a defensive background and then one who is known so much for being such a cerebral coach and loving to dial different things up, that a D-line is not just a D-line when Coach Bowles is in charge. You never know. I mean, when we saw Vita drop back in coverage, everyone was like, Lord knows what's going to happen out there. So tell me what it's like for you knowing that Bowles is the guy that you get to come in and do this role under, and what his defense brings to your defensive line room.
He's going to set the defense up for the players. So whatever our strengths are with our players, that's where the defense is going to be set up. And it's great because he's not a guy who's just going to call a defense just to call it. Who are our best blitzers? That guy, you're going to see him blitz a lot, and we've seen that already. And sometimes we may have to drop a lineman out so that we can get pressure on the quarterback. But it's been fun just how he goes about it. And he's someone that works at it. Like, he's always working at it. And it's always like, okay, we're going to run this pressure. And then there's another pressure coming. And I was like, how do you run all these pressures? But somehow we get them in.
And how do you feel like coaching itself has evolved over your career and the different approaches, and whether it's because of the actual athletes changing with each generation or just things learned about coaching? What would you say are some of the things you've watched evolve the most over your time?
You know, they want a reason why you ask them to do something. You know, it used to be a time where you told them to do it and they just did it. So now it's a discussion. So why do I have to do that? Why do I need to do it that way? And you have to have an answer for them because they're searching for an answer.
Yeah, because I said so didn't fly anymore.
No, because I said so, it's not going to fly anymore. So now it's all about you and you having that relationship with them. And they want to know, okay, coach, and we're going to do it this way. Can I? And then you listen to them when they say, can I? Yes, okay, we'll look at your way. Now, this is what I think. Now, if your way doesn't work, we'll do it like this.
Love it. And now we know you stayed in Tampa after your time with USF. You clearly like it around here. Tell us what you love about Tampa Bay and the area and some of your favorite things about it that made you want to stay.
You know, it's amazing how the city has grown. It's just been great for the city just to see the growth and the people that are moving here and the way the economy is now. And it is a great place to live.